I love RWBY. I might not feel the same way about every season of the show, but what I love about RWBY, I absolutely love. RWBY is the show that made me want to pursue my dream, from starting a YouTube channel to game making and much more. It made me feel like anything was possible. It being made with almost no budget on YouTube and being so enjoyable and loved pushed me forward in a sense, and for that I'm grateful. Which is why I think it's only fitting that I pay respect to the very first thing I saw about RWBY, and the very first trailer shown to the world made by its creator, Monty. I just want to show you why the first trailer of RWBY is a masterpiece. Because I think a lot of people just glimpse over how beautiful this trailer is, and how much detail and work was put into crafting this fight scene. So, this is why RWBY is a masterpiece. I feel like this trailer is truly a piece of art that needs to be experienced to really understand. It's a visceral audiovisual experience. A beautiful dance of depth made with passion and care. Like an action painting, it doesn't really have a figurative meaning, it's much more abstract. It captures an emotion in a simple battle. I assume you already have seen the trailer first before watching this video, but if you didn't, you can check it out after a link in the description. I'm not here to tell you how to feel about RWBY. The emotion you will feel watching the trailer, or simply the enjoyment you will get out of it, is up to you. But I'm here to admire the often overlooked craft behind this 3-minute short, and why I love it so much. First, there is the general aesthetic of the trailer, making it mostly black and white with only the color red breaking the almost monochrome nature of the environment, and hence the light-dark contrast by hooking our eye on the beautiful Scarlet in RWBY's design, magnifying our eye to the screen. The environment helped a lot to set the tone. A gloomy forest leading into an empty snowy plain filled with wolf and fog, setting a dangerous yet mysterious tone to the scene. There's a feeling about RWBY's design that might have been lost along the way for a lot of RWBY fans, but I feel like this trailer captured it quite well. The way RWBY evoked the story of the Red Riding Hood, this helpless little girl that get attacked by the big bad wolf and ultimately die. We see the image of this helpless little girl walking like a badass in the middle of an army of wolves. Suddenly she get attacked, but she vanish and find herself in the air, and whip out her pump shotgun and gun down those buffoons. It's a pretty unforgettable image that gets stuck in her brain, because that's really badass. And the music does wonder for this scene and throughout the fight, following the flow of the battle, which is often overlooked. She starts to gun them down like the hobo with the shotgun on the killing spree, and we can feel the impact and power of her weapon, not only because of the sound effect or the werewolf just getting blown to pieces, but by the knockback yeeting RWBY back in the opposite direction as she shoots. We know it's fantasy, but it feels real in a sense. Maybe not real, but it creates a sense of authentic fantasy, like RWBY isn't above the law of physics even if she is. And then the Red Hood transforms her pump into a huge sight, and if that isn't cool, I don't know what is. And it builds a bit of mystery, like what does this sight gun can do, and boy does it deliver. We can see her using the knockback of the gun to enhance the strength of her slashing, ripping the Grimm's head right off, leading to one of the coolest shots with the moon behind her, using the scenery to make this one slash unforgettable. Then there's a cool clocking of the weapon and she stuck it to the ground, using the ground as a way to reduce the knockback of her gun to do accurate sniper shot. So far we have seen 3 different ways to use the same weapon. Then she jumped to dodge an upcoming attack and shoot the Grim, but it sent her flying back in the other direction, forcing her to stick her sight into the ground again to stop the knockback. Now we see what might seem like a downside at first. It kind of feels like she's losing control of her weapon, and this sense of artificial physics make it all the more exciting to watch. She get attacked again, but dodge in a way that stabilizes her on the side, to then shoot the one in front, which push her backward spinning to kick the one behind. We can see her using the uncontrollable knockback of her weapon to her advantage, and again the sense of physics itself is what makes it so engaging. It forced RWBY to be much more creative in her fighting style, always having to keep the knockback in mind in order to use the full power of her weapon. And then in a flurry of slash, RWBY used her sight knockback speed to increase the spin of her attack, allowing for a much faster attack speed, followed by a beautiful beautiful mix of everything we've seen so far, leading into her headlocking the enemy into her sight. Something she does a lot, but this time she placed herself on top of the enemy before shooting, which propels her in the air. Which seemed like a bad position until she used the knockback of her weapon once again, but this time to move in the air, which is not necessarily surprising, but a really clever way to deepen her moveset. The air isn't the best place for her to be because she can only use the knockback to move, but it's also not her weakness. But even still, it make it harder for her and she get hit right back to the ground. Then it's the grand final. She looked forward to what seemed like a ever-expanding wave of enemy, reload, and show the true potential of her weapon, her speed. Power is mass plus velocity, so the more she used the knockback of her weapon in the opposite direction of her destination, the more speed she will gain, making her attack much more powerful. But what really sells this moment is the sense of speed, both in the sound design and the way RWBY is catching more and more airtime after each shot, eventually gaining so much speed that she's flying like a bullet toward her enemy. Finishing it all off with a montage of her cleaning house, ending with a last shot, knocking her back into her iconic pose in front of the moon. Bullets fall off, and this is the end of Red. One of, if not the coolest, most original battle sequence in fiction, featuring the coolest weapon featured in an animated show. The craft on display amazed me. It flows so well that we pretty much just phase out into the fight without realizing how much work was put into making this so captivating. We don't really pay attention to all those details, like the way blood was replaced with Rose's petal. All those little things make a huge impact in creating such a unique experience. To me, it's not only endlessly rewatchable eye candy, but also a work of art. The visual representation of a group of people that were waiting for a chance to put their passion on display. I don't have an ending quote or a deep message to convey. All I want is to remind the world that you can make something you find cool by letting your passion flow. And that this trailer is just sick as hell. With that said, subscribe to help us out and all that stuff. Peace out.
Take me back to a place where I felt at home. Take me back to a day when we weren't alone. Take me back to an age when the world felt small. Way back before we blew it all. Take me back to a place where I felt at home. Take me back to a day when we weren't alone. Take me back to an age when the world felt small. Way back before we blew it all. Too many things going on, I can't keep track of them all. From people dropping